Welcome to Grow Your Wealth, the podcast where scaling a successful brand and your wellness go hand in hand. I'm Rena Goodwin, founder and CEO of Factor PR, a top beauty, health, and wellness PR studio, and I'm here to help you work smarter, not harder. Each week, we'll talk branding, marketing, and business growth alongside real, practical insights from trailblazers who are building businesses without the burnout. If you're ready to grow your brand, protect your energy, and design a life you love, you are in the right place. Let's grow. Welcome back to Grow Your Wealth. If you've ever felt like you've done everything right and still can't lose the weight, I've been there. This episode is going to feel like a revelation. Today, I sit down with Coco Pierrel, certified integrative nutritionist and founder of the Eat, Shed, Glow method, to talk about the real reasons weight loss stalls and why willpower has almost nothing to do with it. Coco breaks down the overlooked connection between chronic stress and weight retention, why cortisol can keep your body in fat storage mode, no matter how disciplined you are, and how high-achieving women and men are often unknowingly undereating protein while overloading on carbs, even the so-called healthy kind, and what that does to our bodies. We dive into our 5-pillar Eat, Shed, Glow framework, which uses a visual, app-free approach to building balanced meals, managing food noise, and making nutrition simple enough to sustain anywhere, like literally anywhere, like at a restaurant, on a busy Tuesday, or in the middle of a stressful season. We also talk about the role of GLP-1s, why losing weight without understanding how to eat can leave you feeling a bit depleted, and the 3 simple starting points that Coco gives every client. Yes, more protein, more water, more movement that you actually enjoy and can fit into your busy lifestyle. So whether you've tried every diet or you're just starting to take your health seriously, especially as an entrepreneur, this conversation is going to challenge some things that you thought you knew, certainly things that I thought I knew about why we eat the way that we do, and show us a simpler path forward. Here's Coco. Hello, Coco. Welcome to Grow Your Wealth. How's it going?
Good. Hi, Rena. Thank you for having me.
So happy that you are here. I cannot wait to really dig into today's conversation. I know we're going to talk about food freedom. We're going to talk about dieting, stress, nutrition, wellness, all of the things surrounding your Eat, Shed, Glow method as well, too. Before we get into things, for those folks that may not be as familiar with you yet, could you tell us about your journey to where you are today? I love that your career really started in fashion, too. How did you transition from fashion into nutrition and wellness?
Yes, I wanted a career in fashion. I came from a family of people that worked in fashion. My mom's Italian, my dad's Lebanese. They met in Italy through fashion. And, I grew up with that mission. So I moved from Beirut to New York to study fashion merchandising and marketing at Parsons. And everything was aligned. I had an undergrad in graphic design and advertising experience in Dubai. And I was there in New York ready to do it. So I started working in fashion and eventually I opened my own business. I was completely different field from nutrition. I was literally curating vintage jewelry for stores, for photo shoots. And I was living a million hours, a day, the fashion life. I became a mom, I got married, and I was in the industry of beauty and thinness, and I loved it. I was checking off all the boxes. But behind the scenes, my body was absolutely not happy. It just started, unraveling, and I had one issue after the other. Started with like vertigo, migraines, thyroid issues, neck pain. And then the worst was a back pain, sciatica pain that happened to me. And I used to deal with them, doctor after doctor. It would dissipate, medication. It just disappears. It becomes something else. And then the pain was so insane that it just literally, it humbles you, pain in a way that I could not focus on anything else. And that's where a huge transition in my life happened, where I had to take care of myself, and the world of fashion and beauty and all that was not working when you're kind of handicapped in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that's something that we have commiserated on, Coco, is our struggle too with chronic pain, like managing a business, a family, while also kind of silently suffering in the background as well. How did you navigate that at the time? I know you and I look back and think like, oh, we should have seen the signs, we should have known, but you know, while we're going to get into more like the nutritional side of things, it's really hard to begin any journey or take care of yourself when you feel like you're not 100% you to begin with, right? So, yeah, how did you kind of navigate that, and what did you ultimately determine was causing some of these pain issues for you?
So for me, the only thing, how I knew how to take care of my body was what, any woman knows, diet, eat clean, exercise, but still this was happening to me. And I didn't know anything else. Now, in retrospect, when I look back at after all the journey happened, it was a mix of burnout. It was a mix of unresolved trauma. I grew up in a war country. I never had time to process. I just came to New York, fast city, you hop on the wagon, you have to run like everyone else. And a bit of not knowing how to take care of myself. I thought I did, but I believe I used to stress myself out so much with the food, with being perfect, with checking off all these boxes that I told you about. I thought it was the dream on paper to be disciplined, to have the willpower, and I'm stubborn and good student, so I had to do everything right. I think it was a huge amount of stress on my shoulders, and that translated into chronic pain, weird symptoms. Now I know it's called neuroplastic pain. It's more from your brain. It's very real. Some people call it psychosomatic, pain. And the problem with that, you need more than a pill to fix it. You kind of need an overhaul to, every area of your life needs to be looked at.
That's really amazing. I know on paper, you've talked about like you were doing everything right? Like in terms of taking care of yourself, eating, trying to eat clean, probably some calorie limitation, right? Like good food versus bad food. What in your opinion is kind of missing from this equation here? Because I think we come from very similar backgrounds. I think we're around the same age. I didn't grow up in the Middle East, but my parents are immigrants from Jordan, and there was a lot of noise, Coco, about like how, especially a woman should look. It was less about being healthy, quite honestly. It's like that never came up. It was just like, you should be skinny, period.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What's wrong?
And when you're skinny or you feel good about it, well, you're too skinny, you look sick. And when you're healthy, it's like, oh, you're chubby. I think, society in general puts so much expectation on us. And I think my idea was very skewed of what it was to be successful. And also I inherited all these habits from my mom, like our moms in general. We spoke about this before. It's like no one taught us how to really take care of ourselves. It's just kind of, you're stumbling, you're learning some behaviors, and you just do the best you can, mix it with your dreams and try to create a life, that is working until it doesn't work. And I don't know if you've read the book, The Body Keeps Score. Body, it's like the face of chronic pain. It's like the body will come back at you when it's not happy, for sure. Yes. And that's what happened. And in that moment, it was so frustrating, and you can't do anything with pain really. So, it's kind of lit up the nerd in me to do something about it and to learn more about how to take care of myself, because obviously something was off,
Yeah. I
Yeah.
would love, Coco, if you could dig into that a little bit more, like how you ultimately learn to take care of yourself and really maybe start us with like, what do you mean by taking care of yourself? Because I'm getting the idea that you don't mean like brushing your hair and your teeth and like hygiene. Like I feel like you're saying like really take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean to you?
So the frustration happened where I'm like, I don't know how to take care of myself in general, where I realized I'm in so much pain, all these symptoms. Not one doctor would answer me, something that made sense. It was, 5-minute diagnosis. The diagnosis would change. I was given so many medications. I gained weight. I couldn't eat less than that. I felt miserable because in my standard of beauty and fashion and this life, it was like not what I wanted. I couldn't work out. So those two tools were out the window. And that's what I meant by taking care of myself. That's the only way I knew, eat healthy, do the diet. I did everything, intermittent fasting, green juice before the coffee, apple cider vinegar before like it was not fun.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I was mad. I'm like, if, me, the picture of discipline, is breaking and I had no accident, no injury, there was something missing in the puzzle. And I realized that I needed to understand how the body works and not have these diagnoses by strangers, even if they were doctors or, personal trainers, people telling me, oh, you might have to take opioids. We don't know why, but opioid was a no.
Yeah.
Then I met this personal trainer who's like, oh, you're broken. Don't worry. I'll fix you. I'm like, I don't want anyone to fix me. I have to understand something here. And that's kind of my I'm a, nerds by nature. So I went back to school for myself. I was not thinking of leaving fashion. I just, you get a certification when you study. So that happened as a bonus. I certified in integrative nutrition. Then one door led to the other. One interest opens another door. So got interested in gut health, started understanding the mind-body relationship. And that led me to pain reprocessing therapy. So I got an overview of how nutrition works, how you can use food to heal you and to not stress about it when you know about it, And so I just did a 360 approach to how the body works. And I realize now that, okay, no one had told me this, There are other ways than just dieting and suffering and running, which are not sustainable nor applicable in the case, in which I was stranded basically. So, so that happened, went back to school. And then the big aha moment happened when it started clicking and I started applying some of the things I've learned at the weight that I've been like fighting against since I was a teenager, the 10, 15 pounds, ideal pounds, shed the weight, not out of miracle. I feel it's like out of balance and, and decreasing stress and many things. And that was kind of my aha moment about weight loss. And I tell my clients today, weight loss is a side effect of feeling good and living in balance. Yeah, that's what happened to me. And then I had to pivot. Yeah.
I love that, what you said about weight loss being the side effect of having more balance within us. What have you uncovered in your studies and even in your experiences, this relationship between stress and weight loss? Because I think sometimes we understand, okay, maybe if I'm stressed, I will overeat and gain weight. But I've also heard you say that when we're stressed, you could be doing all the like not overeating, sometimes even undereating and not losing weight.
Yes.
What is going on there?
So we all know that stress is not good for us, but we don't treat it as an important thing to take care of because people don't know exactly what you just said, that when you're running on stress, even if you're doing everything right, you're working out at 5 a.m., you're intermittent fasting, running on coffee. Some people overeat at night, but some don't. It's the salad. You're running on cortisol, which is your stress hormone. Cortisol is basically the hormone that's saying we're running away from a bear. I don't care if the bear is like, an email, your kids, any stress in life. And so we need to fetch for a source, like a quick source of energy, sugars. So your cravings spike up. You go in fat storage mode. The body's so primal that way that it will not prioritize you losing weight. It's stressed out. It holds on to the weight. Belly, stubborn belly weight is there. And I see it in my most busy, successful clients where they do everything right on paper and they're so frustrated. And the element of stress is such a big thing where like it's unbelievable for them that this could be the one thing that, that would unlock the weight loss. It just literally sheds.
That's amazing. And, I so can see that happening, especially with our kind of mutual experience with the mind-body connection, just that unlock with pain. You called it. Yes. I love the way that you phrase it, as neuroplastic pain. I haven't actually heard it called that before, but I did. Actually, it was one of my first episodes on this podcast. It was called the physical pains of entrepreneurship. And I talk a lot about how nothing would get rid of this chronic pain. But once things clicked up here, it was gone. Like, I love that you say shed, because it was like, I was almost like a new person after that. Is that sort of a similar thing that's going on here? Like you almost need to connect the mind and the body in that way so that like your body isn't holding on to whether it's pain or weight or inflammation and all of these things. Is that kind of what you mean by that? Like, is it a mind-body connection?
It's a mind-body connect. It's one of the three things that I think, that are the reasons why people gain weight. Stress is a huge filler that makes people gain weight. It's just overlooked. And, definitely there's an unlock mind-body when you start also seeing what is stressing your life and release that. It creates space for, more clarity, learning new things as well. And that's where, in my method, I also teach them how to eat, how eating becomes less stressful. We're just working on reducing stress everywhere, find the workout that doesn't stress you out. If you're not a 5 a.m. person, then you're maybe a 4 p.m. person. Maybe you like to exercise at home. So we try to find solutions to deal with this stress of modern life, but also the stress of dieting, which is huge. It's such a toll on, everyone who wants to lose weight. It's such a big elephant that you're just dragging along the way and you just don't acknowledge because it's part of the story. It's normal. Yes. So definitely there's an unlock mind body. And what you said, once you see it and once you understand, you cannot unsee it and you cannot just sit there and do nothing about it. So, you take action.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that action then. Yes. Tell us a little bit about your Eat, Shed, Glow method, because I haven't seen anything quite like it before. Would you mind diving into that?
Yes. So it's a personalized weight loss method in which I work with clients one-on-one for them to unlearn dieting and relearn eating for weight loss that lasts and for results they can maintain on their own. So it's basically based on one core insight. I'm a huge believer that weight loss is not a you problem. It's not your willpower only. It's been marketed as such. You're the problem. This is the solution. And if you do it perfectly and don't, fit your life in it and your humanity in it, it will work. So Eat, Shed, Glow is based on basically understanding how food works, essentially going and diving into the core problem, because we can, run away from the problem and try a million things. But as long as we don't understand why we're gaining weight and why we're stuck in, these vicious patterns of weight gain from food, weight gain from stress, weight gain from being inflamed, if you can't put the pieces together, you cannot lose weight long term. It's impossible. So Eat Shed Glow is basically a method that gives complete clarity about nutrition, about weight gain and weight loss. And clients learn, what happened in their life, and they understand the whys, and then the method responds to all the problems that could cause weight gain with 5 pillars, which are 5 tools that I created, where I use my, fashion design background to translate such a, annoying topic. Like, nutrition is so confusing out there. So I simplified it with these 5 tools that teach you how to build meals visually. So I'm not counting calories. In a way, it's counting calories for you, but how to recognize foods that are good for you, how to assemble them in a plate so that if you go to a restaurant, you can reassemble a plate. You don't have to be at home with a calculator, the apps. So it's all very visual based and very practical. And so the pillars are, how to build visually balanced meals that will keep you full for hours, decrease your cravings because of the foods you're using. It's just science, but made simple. The second pillar is how to snack strategically. I'm a big proponent of, if you need something, have something, but have something that is good for you and will not sabotage your weight loss. So they learn how to gravitate towards those snacks that are good for them, will keep them full, bridge, and not spiral later. The third one is how to optimize your lifestyle. So we touch on everything that causes stress, hydration. Dehydration is a stressor for the body. That's how simple our body is. Okay. You can also hold on to weight because you're dehydrated. Your body's like, oh my God, we're stressed out. Yes. So hydration is important. Sleep is super important, and decreasing stress by creating healthy boundaries around weight loss as well. Others always have opinions about weight loss, protect yourself from that, how to deal with situations. The fourth pillar is how to find movement that works. So exercise that you like doing and do it often, stop going against what your body needs. Learn how, if you want to run, walk, you can walk and it works. And the fifth pillar is the most fun one. It's, how to treat yourself. I'm a big proponent of, diets teach you how to cheat. It's like you are in the wrong until you cheat, or you have a cheat day that you've earned. And Eat Shed Glow, we learn how to treat ourselves. I differentiate from, is this a happy calorie moment or like a sad calorie? Am I alone on the couch and frustrated and I just need to call a friend? Or I'm out celebrating, we're having cake and wine and my friends are here and we're having a great moment to remember. So clients learn how to treat themselves from a place of choice and power. And because they know how food works, when you eat cake, which is sugar, you will crash 90 minutes later and your body will go, give me more sugar. But now that this is happening, you go, oh no, let me have a strategic snack instead, and just like rebalance everything and land on your feet. So all these tools are practical ways of dealing with everything that blocks weight loss in a more fun way, in a more practical way, where you don't have to be a scientist. You don't have to think of everything. You just need to have 3 meals a day, a couple of snacks when you need them, move like something you like doing. And this decreases stress, balances your blood sugar, and decreases inflammation. And this is all we need to like lose weight and actually feel good, which is the most important part of this method, is feeling good. Because this was my journey. I felt awful doing all the things that they told me to do. So how can we combine both and still lose weight,
Hi, friends. I want to tell you about our new and improved authority accelerator from Factor PR called RealFluence. RealFluence is the only membership that helps beauty and wellness founders grow their reputation and authority to attract new customers without endless discounting, advertising, or going viral. Inside, you'll learn how to get recognized for your product or your expertise, partner with other founders, and become the name people trust and talk about, all with the guidance and community to support you every step of the way. Remember, you can't buy authority. You have to earn it. And Realfluence is here to help. Visit therealfluence.com to get started. I love that you simplified that. Yeah, I love how you simplified that, because as I'm hearing you, and as I'm sure when our listeners are hearing you, it sounds so simple, yet I don't know anyone who hasn't struggled with one or more of these at a certain point. And I love what you said, Coco, earlier, as you know, we often blame ourselves, but I don't know a lot of people that, sit on the couch depressed eating grapes. They're like eating things that literally give them that like rush or hit or whatever it is, that dopamine satisfaction, like potato chips or ice cream. And it's like, okay, well, that is not, that's the problem, and man created that problem, right?
Yes.
So I so appreciate that you've really simplified that. Let's talk a little bit too about like just food noise in general. That's something else that stood out to me about what you just shared with us, because I didn't hear from you like you need to eat this or eat that. It was more about making this fit into your life. Food noise is real, right? Like even when you're walking down the aisles at the grocery store, I mean, everything is trying to get our attention. How do you help your clients navigate some of that?
Yes, food noise is torturous, for all of us. And it all goes down to nutrition science. So it's what you eat will give you food noise, despite the marketing and everything else. And many people that I meet, they eat salads and they're like, I barely eat, these high achievers. They're not eating, and then they eat the salad and that's it. But their salad, for example, has apples, all good foods, okay? Apples, sweet potatoes, a little crouton because they're not doing bread, or this is all carbs. It all falls in the carbs category. So when you're running on mostly carbs, good or bad, and I hate those words, but the healthy ones, unhealthy ones, your blood sugar is spiking and crashing. That's the rhythm of carbs. And that will give you these cravings. So all day long, you might feel brain foggy, and then you need a jolt of carbs. That's how it works. When you add, and this is something I really emphasize on, when you add the other foods, the foods that don't burn into sugar, which are protein and healthy fats, and pair them with the carbs, with the right amount of carbs, then the blood sugar doesn't go up and down. You have like this steady, nice energy for hours. And that immediately decreases food noise. You don't think about it because you're full, because the body needs to break down protein, which takes more time to break down. It takes more calories to break down, like it's working overtime. Healthy fats, like it's all these other good foods. When we pair them with carbs, it just reduces that food noise. So I work with clients on literally building those visually balanced meals to add in more of the good stuff that keeps you full, so that we can crowd out like the amount of carbs you need for energy. And again, carbs are not evil. No food is evil, but we need to work with science, So if your body just gets a jolt of carb, you're going to have the cravings all day. But if you're mindful of like, oh, I have enough protein, I have enough healthy fat, I have enough carbs in my meal, then you just live literally another experience from dieting and food noise, because you're fueling your body with the right stuff. And this kickstarts weight loss because you're eating less, you're having less bouts of, oh my God, I need something. And you think about food less in general. So it's literally it starts on your plate. It's eating the right stuff,
I so appreciate the way that you phrase that. Something that comes up a lot for me is energy, like feeling just like fatigued and tired. And, I try to eat also for energy. So I love that you mentioned that carbs are not evil, because sometimes we just need to hear that. But particularly as we get older, I mean, I remember, when I was young, I just wanted to look good. But now that I'm in my 40s, I'm like, oh, yeah, I still want to look good, but I need to feel good because there's just, like we've talked about, just so many more stressors and pressures in life that I'm like, I have to show up. I don't get like, many days off, so to speak, from being a mom or a wife or any of these things.
Yes.
Yes, completely identify, right? And so we've got to like show up to not just look good, but to feel good as well too. I want you to share with us a little bit more about this like visual, like using your eyes, quite honestly, because it's so easy to rely on things like technology. Way back in the day, I remember when I was prepping for my wedding, I was obsessed with like my fitness pal and it helped me lose weight. But the second I stopped using it, I'm like, well, clearly learned nothing from this experience because you just rely on technology. So technology, great. But what you seem to be talking about is just really educating the person. So like without technology, without a crutch, like we can make the best decisions for ourselves. So how does this fold into just using your vision to be able to make good food decisions? What does that look like?
It looks like, for example, veggies are important for fiber. You do not need to take supplements if there's half your plate has veggies on them. Okay. Take care of the fiber. I like thinking of what it takes care of. And then, for example, the other half of the plate should have protein, palm size of your hand. And that's literally 6 to 8 ounces for women and 8 to 10 ounces for men. It's as simple as that, I'm assuming, the palm of a man.
Yeah.
To be slightly larger than mine. But again, so you have to have your veggies, you have to have your protein. Then there's a quarter of your plate is your carbs. Pick your source of carbs, they come in from so many sources and I call them sugar bombs when they come in from hidden sources. Like, what is the carb on your salad? Are you getting just carbs, like the example, sweet potato, apple, corn, everything looks amazing and crouton, great, but that's carbs running the show,
Yeah.
Add enough protein. And then to like cook or dress the plate is the healthy fats. And just like I think, carbs are not evil in the right amounts and with the right foods. Fat doesn't make you fat when it comes from the right places. It feeds your brain. It gives you that steady energy. It helps your digestion and everything. So think 50% of your plate, veggies, non-starchy veggies, quarter protein, quarter carbs, and fats is like to drizzle or to cook with. As simple as that. And when we, there's a lot of awareness in Eat Shut Glow about what foods are healthy for us and nourish us. So there's definitely a clear difference between, hey, pick anti-inflammatory foods, pick foods that are good for you. So more whole food than processed foods. There's that awareness, like it cannot be magical, processed foods are not amazing for you, or change the staples with which you cook with. Some simple things just change the whole plate and how it looks like. Cause just like stress, eating inflammatory foods every day is like one of those things where your body, even if you're in calorie deficit, your body's going to say, I'm fighting the inflammation. I'm not going to make you lose weight. I'm protecting you. Let's hope, it braces. This plate takes care of that. Once you know, okay, I'll eat mostly foods that are good for me in this visual proportion. This will calculate, roughly what an app is calculating. It will allow you to enjoy food freedom because, and it's colorful and nice, and it goes back to eating how we're supposed to eat, a little bit from nature, a little bit of the good stuff. And this plate will have all the vitamins you need, all the protein you need, all the fats and all the carbs. Keep you full for 4 to 5 hours. It's as simple, but there's a science behind it. It's just got simplified and practical because in the end, we're humans. And just like you mentioned, the app, everyone I worked with had the app for a limited amount of time. And also, when you go off track, you never track that one. It's like, this, we'll forget about this day and tomorrow. I'll just log in the real thing. So, yeah, so this simplifies it and makes it easier to eat anywhere you are, and also sheds that guilt. It's like, okay, check, check, check. All my good foods are here, you know?
Yeah, I love that too. I just keep thinking like, who the heck has time to like log in everything and scroll and find, no, 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 not this kind of corn, this kind of, like,
Yes.
it's just, I have no patience anymore. I mean, I appreciate those for when I needed to get in my wedding dress, but let's just say I didn't do it in the most sustainable way. And I like your way a lot better. That makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Coco, do you have a story of a client, maybe a woman or a man that, you know, is like our listener? They are just running the show on so much in their life, a family, maybe a business or a career, that have tried everything, and how were they able to transform their habits, and what do they look like on the other end?
So I have a lot of those stories because of, the base being New York City, most of my clients. So it's people that do everything right on paper, literally all the supplements, they know all the trends, they're on top of it. Wake up at 5, before me. By the time we're texting, it's like so much more. So they're running on stress. Okay. They're running on that hormone cortisol, and that backfires, whether they overeat at night, even if it's that one meal a day where it goes, crazy, then it affects their sleep. Then the next day they do the same thing. So they either run on stress, or they're under eating protein, super important for good metabolism and all that. And one thing I noticed with these particular overachievers that changes the whole needle when we work together is they might have like a to-do list of 100 things, and they check off 99 things. And the last thing on the list is, but how are you doing? And that goes, tomorrow. I'll think about it tomorrow. So we work on stress mostly with these people, and removing that guilt about food, removing that mindset of scarcity to more abundance, to you need to take care of yourself first and go up on that list, be a little selfish in that sense, block some time on the calendar so you can maybe work out at a time that is more decent for you, or you need a break from the family, you need a break from work, the world will continue to go on. So for them, it's mostly the stress element literally like unlocks the way. And it's the people that are, that have not been able to lose 5 to 10 pounds, and it bugs them so freaking much. So changes like that. And one other change is those salads, those, sweet green salads that are packed with sugar from choices of, again, scarcity. It's like, I'm not gonna, like, salad with an egg is not a salad. It's like, it's not your body's in famine. It's a stressor. We need to fuel you. And so, yeah, it's more mindset and coaching for these profiles than really teaching them something, because they've read everything, they know everything. And, I can't go there, but I can tell them, hey, there's a simpler way, and it's so much less stressful.
Yeah. That is so empowering. I feel empowered just listening to you talk about that, because especially for those high performers, those entrepreneurs, even for that stay-at-home mom that is juggling all of the things, it's like we can move mountains, I can make something happen for my client overnight if I put my mind to it. And if there's a problem at work, I know how to fix it. Yet you're telling me I can't drop 5 pounds. Like, it just seems like it's so challenging, and it really messes with your mind in many ways too. And it's just so liberating to hear from you in terms of that. Not only is there a solution, but the solution is so much easier. It's actually doing probably less work than we're doing now, and really focusing on simplicity and scalability, which, let's face it, I think that we get a lot of communication day in and day out to do more, not to do less. So what you're saying is kind of radical, Coco.
I'm glad. Well, I often use this example of, the whole confusion and the diets and the trends that they are bombarding us with. And for example, high achievers stressed out. If I tell them, you know what, it's a lot of stress, they're like, I'm taking the cortisol supplement, so I don't have the cortisol fix. I'm like, oh my God, you even bought that. It's like, definitely we're bombarded with do more, buy more. You're not enough,
Mm-hmm.
You're broken. And that's what I had heard when I started my own journey. It's like, I'm like, no, I'm not broken. We all have the mental capacity to learn how to take care of ourselves, but no one taught us how to. No one taught us how to eat. Of course, our parents, showed us what they could. But, you go to public schools, the food is horrible. There's no foundation to taking care of yourself and no foundation to be, able to deal with the fastness and the modern lives that we're dealing with. When people travel to Europe, they come back, oh my God, I didn't gain weight. Yeah, because you were living the slower paced life that we're meant to live, and enjoy things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I like what I'm doing because I do see the difference and it relieves me just to see people be relieved, because I got relieved after literally trying everything. I mean, I was the joke of my friends and family. Like, oh, are you thinking of what you ate last night? So you're not going to eat It's like, it's sad when I look back. Yeah. So it's liberating. That's the point of it, I hope.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think it is. And I'm sure people listening can certainly relate to a lot of what you're saying too, especially with, GLP-1s. I know you've talked about this too. I think I read a study that was like 1 out of every 7 people is on or has tried a GLP-1. And I'm sure that's probably going to increase with it becoming a lot more accessible. And something that you have said too is that those are all fine and dandy, but we still need to learn how to eat, right? Like you can lose weight and still not have high energy, be high performing, right? We want to not just look good, but feel good. And I mean, I know you just were quoted in a story a few days ago about the relationship between being on GLP-1s like Ozempic and not looking so good at the same time, right? Because people are maybe losing weight too fast. What do you tell those folks that are on or considering a GLP-1? How does that fold into this conversation of also, sustainable weight loss and nutrition? You still need to learn how to eat, right? It's not just like a free pass to junk food, is it?
I'm a big believer at this point in my life that if you want to fix something, you have to really understand and fix the core issue, and change your story. Like be fed up enough that you're changing the story. No matter what you're doing, there's tools to help. I'm not against GLP-1 at all. Some people have substantial weight to lose and you cannot tell them, okay, now we're going to lose 1 pound a week. That's the healthy way if you have, 300 pounds to lose. So it's a great helper. But if you don't, again, the root cause of all of this is what got you there, what got you to use the medication. So if you want to get off of it, first it's super expensive. And yes, we're seeing a lot of side effects on the skin, on the sagging, all these not so beautiful things. But anyhow, who wants to live on a medication forever? So if you want to get off of it and take all the benefit of it, which is calming the food noise, at least educate yourself to learn something new, another way to just jump off of it and continue with your life and literally take another turn, change the story. People are fed up and if someone's taking the medication, they're really fed up, and I do not judge anyone taking it, but definitely do the work and take advantage of the meds because they're reducing that food noise for you. Great. Now you have time to think of other things and how to make them right,
It reminds me of if anyone's ever had an injury or struggled with pain or had a surgery, how they kind of like, give you those meds so that you can do the physical therapy, if that makes sense. Like it kind of reminds me a little bit of that, like almost like if you have, a lot of weight to lose or something along those lines, like how it can help kind of kickstart things, but you're still teaching yourself along the way how to function and how to, in this case, eat sustainably too. So I can definitely see where it would have a place in some of that work that you're doing, but the foundation doesn't seem like it changes whether you're on a GLP-1 or whether you're not on a GLP-1 too. So, Coco, for those that are listening, I know we just have a few minutes left, but I am dying to ask you this question. They want to feel better. They want to look better. They want more energy. They want to sleep well. They want to stop overthinking about food and they're busy. What is the best place to start, in your opinion?
So definitely with the mind, be fed up. Okay. Whatever you've done has not worked maybe and is frustrating you. 3 things I would do: up your protein. That's the one trend that is right. Okay. We need protein. It's your best friend for weight loss. It fills you up, for hours. It doesn't make you gain weight. People get scared of protein because of stigmas that we have. Red meat is not great for you. It's not good for you. But those studies about meat was, based on processed meats, not the nice grass-fed piece of steak. So up your protein. Breakfast is very important to hit those protein goals. It's not 1 egg, it's 3 to 4 eggs. And don't be afraid of being full with protein. It will not make you gain weight. It will just crowd out the other foods that are making you gain weight. Second thing, we touched on hydration, how it's a stressor for the body. It's the easiest way to stress the body. So if I'm telling you that's the easiest way also to de-stress the body, drink more water, filtered, mineral. If you don't like water, add electrolytes, which are minerals. In your water, it's flavored, it's easier to drink. That is a game changer for cravings, for carbs cravings. So try that. And the third one is removing the stress about exercising. Movement is very important for a human body, but we were not meant to be in boot camps or studios. So, back in the days, people used to walk and no one was obese. So if you don't know where to start, walk every day. Best friend for weight loss, doesn't make you hungry afterwards. It goes and fetches in your fat storage. You just, lose weight gently and nicely, and you can do it every single day. And if you're over 30, you have to get into strength training a little bit. Get curious. I hate the gym personally, and I love finding solutions. You can go online. There's free platforms, get a mat, but dumbbells for your level, whatever that is, and do weight training, because that will keep your metabolism fired up at any age. Your metabolism will not stop. Like, we've been kind of brainwashed to think, especially as women, oh, I'm 30, it stopped. No, it doesn't stop. You need to keep it going. And protein is your best friend for that, and weight training as well. But all with ease, start small, start at home, around the block for the walks, drink water. It's simple, but do it. And if you do it every day, it works, and I tell my clients, I'm a hard believer of there's power in repetition and not perfection. Leave perfection out there for the big diet culture industry and marketing, and become a human and start doing things that you can do every single day. Every single day, just show up. And if you screwed up yesterday, show up again. Just continue. Don't wait for Monday. Just show up at the next meal, show up at the next snack. We always have the choice of making a better choice for ourselves. So yeah, that's what I would recommend in general.
I love all of that. It reminds me of one of my favorite quotes on success, which is, it comes from what we do consistently, not occasionally. And I love everything that you said, because you can be consistent if it's simple, and I think with the diet culture and the weight loss industry, it's like, oh my God, so much coming out. Like, I need this equipment now. I need these supplements now. Apparently I have to go to this boot camp gym because it's the only thing that supposedly is going to get me in zone 2 or 3 for long, like whatever that looks like. And you're like, it's just so much. It's so much. But what I'm hearing from you and, what you're saying also, we had Matt Casey on the podcast a couple weeks ago. He's a personal trainer. Same exact thing. He's like, you don't need to do all that craziness. Like, you don't need to go to the boot camp. You need to do strength training 2 times a week minimum, walk, hydrate, eat nutritiously till you're full. Like, that's it, baby.
That's what the human body, it's a human body. It's simple. It's simple on the inside. It's simple on the outside. It's just what you just said. And I'm glad someone else agrees. Yes.
Well, Coco, for those that also would love a buddy through all of this and would like a little bit of accountability, because I think that this can also be fun for people too. That is something you offer through Eat, Shed, Glow, right? How can people work with you specifically?
So everything is on my website, eatshedglow.com. If you want to work with me or are curious about the method, it's a 6-week method, and you can book a free consult online. If you want to connect with me, it's important to connect because, there's a coaching element and a human element to it. You can work with me like that. And I also have a lot of free resources that you can access, recipes, tips. I have a monthly newsletter. The tagline is, no BS, only the good stuff, to give you all the good tips that you need to kickstart this weight loss and kind of shed the stress about the whole diet culture in general. And you can find me on Instagram at Eat, Shed, Glow. These are the ways, and I'm right behind them. I reply.
Good to know too. We'll have those links in the show notes also. Coco, one last question before I let you go. As an integrative nutritionist, as a busy mom, as an entrepreneur, can you tell us, how are you investing in you these days? How are you growing your wealth?
I definitely practice what I call selfish self-care. It's like, I need to get my own, mental health workout in, whether it's walking or doing my strength training. It's a non-negotiable. Even my child knows, oh, you're going for your walk. It's normalized. This is sacred for me. I do, do what I preach, and I make a lot of space for the things that I like as well. I love my chocolate, so I'll have my chocolate. I love my martini on the weekend. I'll have my martini, I practice balance, and again, no bullshit. Yes. I became more selfish with the years, I think, a little bit. And it's not really selfishness. It's about filling my cup so I'm able to give back. Because if you're from a place of less, it's impossible to give more without having chronic pain and a bunch of issues that you don't want. Yeah, definitely that.
You're so cool. Thank you so much for your time today. And I feel like everyone can walk away feeling not only empowered, but feeling like we have permission to do these things. It's totally fine to scale back, to simplify. And I know you are just such a gift to your clients and everyone that comes into contact with you. Really appreciate the no bullshit conversation today, keeping it real with us. Thank you for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Rena. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode deposited some useful advice and insights to help you grow your wealth. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future conversations. You can find more resources, episode details, and updates at growyourwealthpodcast.com. And let's keep the conversation going on Instagram. Follow me at Grow Your Wealth Podcast. I'd love to hear your thoughts, questions, or takeaway from today's show. Until next time, remember, burnout is optional. Take care, and I'll see you next week.